ICT, and the officials from the national government, our county commissioner. Let me welcome you to Kiambu, and thank you, CS, most sincerely for choosing to be with us here in Kiambu today. We want to thank you and thank the President and the national government for the effort that you have put all through in fighting this pandemic. We have seen the difference between us surviving or just becoming catastrophic. We want to appreciate your work. We particularly want to thank you for leading such a cohesive team. We've seen your CSs giving information. We've seen your peers. We've seen you. We want to thank you, and we want to appreciate the President for putting together a team like that and all the other machinery to fight this pandemic. We want to thank also your ministry for the support that we have continued to get as a county. We have received various equipment. We've received all the facilities, because at the beginning we are not very sure how this will go. Therefore, we want to appreciate every time we call you, you always come to our aid. We particularly want to thank you because of helping us to start the targeted mass testing that we have carried out a couple of days ago, and the results are quite clear. So the cases that we have been seeing in Kiambu are as a result of your support to do the mass testing. We also want to appreciate that most of our patients have been accommodated at KU Referral and Teaching Hospital. But as we have discussed, we are ready in Kiambu to accommodate patients, and judging from what you have seen across the female and male ward and pediatric ward, we are ready, not just here, but also in our other facilities within the county. As a county, we have about 60 beds for isolation and quarantine in our 3 level 5 hospitals, that is Gatundu, Thika, and Kiambu. But we felt that it was necessary for us to get a dedicated facility entirely for COVID, and Tigoni was a choice. We are now calling it Kiambu County COVID Center. In this center, as you have seen, we have about 45 beds that are set and ready to receive patients. In the new wing that you have just seen, we have the capacity of another 200 beds, so that within the county we'll be talking about 300 or so beds. But we are also realizing that there could be need for more, and a facility like this in Wangigi is going to be ready to take patients. So we are ready to do that, and as we talk, we have some patients in our quarantine facilities. We have a capacity of 300 beds in our quarantine facilities at KMTC Thika, KMTC Karuri, KIST, Kiambu Institute of Science and Technology, which has a capacity of 50 beds, and Kikuyu University Campus with a capacity of 100 beds. And as we talk now, there are patients who are being isolated in our facilities. So, ladies and gentlemen, we continue to respond to cases of COVID-19 in the county. We have so far tested 509 cases, 37 of which have proved to be positive for COVID-19. But we have been able to accommodate this, as I said, within some of our facilities, and of course with the help of KU Referral. When we talk about targeted mass testing, it is because we have mapped out the county and we have come up with what we can call hotspots. One of the hotspots that we identified earlier on is Sokomujinga, because of the interaction with traders from as far away as Mombasa and sometimes even outside the country. We realized that it is a hotspot, and that's where we did the targeted testing, and out of that 5 cases that you mentioned were from there. We have Makongeni in Thika, we have Githurai that is proving to be a hotspot, and we are putting a lot of our energy there. We have Gewa, Kwamaiko in Githunguri, and Kiambu, and the environs in areas such as Tinganga is one of the other areas that we are finding that it is a hotspot, and we are concentrating our effort to that. One of the things that we have seen, Waziri, is the need for protection, for prevention. And from the experience that we had in Ruaka, we embarked on a full prevention program, and that's how we were able to contain Ruaka. So we have continued to do that by closing some of the markets so that we can fumigate, and as we talk, we have closed Sokomjinga market for fumigation, and we'll decide how it will be opened subsequently, and quite a number of others. We particularly note that we need to do more testing, particularly for patients in our facilities. It will be important so that we know that our health care workers are dealing with patients who are either positive or not positive, because that's an area of concern where we feel our health personnel, if not with that kind of information, would be exposed. We are therefore at this point CS asking for your support so that we can get additional testing capacity, particularly the samples and the testing kit, so that we can expand that, but also expand our mass testing. We have continued to build capacity for our staff. Our staff have been exposed on how to use the ventilators. More particularly, our staff have been trained. We have about 1,200 staff who have been trained, and we continue also to train more, including our community health volunteers. We have a process of ensuring that we have hired about 5,400 community health volunteers. I also want to thank you, Waziri, because as of today, we have hired an additional 200 health workers through the support of the national government. And next week, we'll be moving on to hire an additional 100. And then after that, the county has resources to hire another 150 so that we can live up our health personnel. But for us to move forward, Waziri, there are a few things that we would request that you continue to support us, in addition to obviously getting more testing kits. We would also request that you help us to finalize that facility there. Because we wanted to be dedicated fully to COVID, we realized there is need to have a fully operational ICU of 14 beds, and that will require some resources. We will require a radiology department because of X-ray and the related complications, an ultrasound equipment, and a renal unit so that we can be able to do dialysis and so on. I know we have talked, Waziri, and we have an MOU between KU and Gatondo Hospital, and we would want to request that we hasten that relationship so that Gatondo becomes fully operational as part of the KU Teaching and Referral Hospital. So we once again want to thank you. We know the support you've given us, and we also want to acknowledge the support we have gotten from the CS Waziri Mushero. We are at a point where we are installing the HMIS, the Hospital Management Information System, so that we can have our facilities interconnected. And we have had discussions with CS Mushero on how his ministry will come to help us on that. So once again, thank you very much. And let me take this opportunity now to invite CS Mushero to make a few comments, and then we invite you, Waziri, to make your speech. CS Mushero.
I'll speak from here.
Thank you very much, Governor. My colleague and chairman, Mutahi Kagwe, is our chair in the National Emergency Response Committee. So I was not expecting actually to make any speech or to talk. Mine was to really come and support him as he's going around the counties and to see how we as the national government and the county governments are working together, and really to heed the call that as a country we must be together. The president is very clear that we need to all take responsibility. This is not a government responsibility, it's not a county government responsibility, it's for everybody. So mine here was to come and discuss issues of technology and issues of communication. So I also want to thank the media for the continued support that they've given to every Kenyan and to the government in ensuring that the messages that are required to go to every citizen are being provided. The warnings that people need to heed are also being provided. And so I thank you for all the effort that you've put together to ensure that we remain fully informed as a country. So I don't have much more than that to say, but to thank you all and to just ask everyone to continue to watch this space. I think there's so much that we need to do as a country, the economy, as well as health, you know, those challenges that we're dealing with. And so we have to support each other, as I'm supporting my colleague here. So thank you very much, Governor. Waziri. Karibu.
Thank you. Now I can take off my mask. Asante sana. Amjambo. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Adwaki abu mulega.
Lega.
Asanteni sana. First of all, thank you very much, Governor, and thank you, my brother, CS Moshero, and fellow colleagues from the ministry, health workers, and members of the Fourth Estate. Wananchi wapendwa, I'm delighted to be in your midst and to inform you that the national government appreciates the important role that every Kenyan has played and continues to play in combating this virus. As I have often stated, this is a disease that the government cannot fight without the support and cooperation of the people. It is a fight whose success is heavily dependent on active involvement of every Kenyan. I want to thank you for holding each other's hand, fighting together at the two levels of government. We must continue to cooperate if victory is to be realized nationally. Remember, coronavirus in one county is coronavirus in all counties. Being here in Kiambu is a continuation of visits by the Ministry of Health officials to counties to assess the level of preparedness and to determine the support needed to enhance readiness to combat this virus. Evaluating county readiness is of critical importance, considering that this disease is now within their communities. As I already mentioned, infections are growing within the counties. 32 out of the 47 counties, Kiambu included, have so far recorded cases of the disease. This number accounts for more than 60% of the counties affected. Kiambu County has recorded 39 cases, placing it at number 4, behind Nairobi at 835, Mombasa at 490, and Kajiado at 65. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a worrying trend, and we must collectively stop it by observing and practicing the containment measures that we continue to advocate for. We all know those measures. They include what we have just been doing, washing our hands, social distancing, and I can see some people not doing exactly that. But at least you have got your mask on, which is a good thing. These measures may sound very simple and therefore easy to ignore. But experience from elsewhere has shown that they are the most effective ways to tackle this virus. These measures must be complied with by all of us at all times, whether at the marketplace, whether in a garage, whether in a construction site, whether in a kiosk, whether in a shop, anywhere you are, you should be observing these measures. As the Ministry of Health, we will continue to work closely with the counties to provide support as appropriate in order to upscale county capacities. For instance, the ministry has facilitated the training of healthcare workers in every county. And Governor, I'm glad to hear about what has happened in Kiambu County. I witnessed the people who are going to be operating ventilators, and I can see they are trained, because a person using a ventilator who is not trained can end up being more dangerous than the disease itself. So further, the ministry continues to provide personal protective gear and other commodities at various health facilities for use by our health workers. And I repeat and I keep repeating that our health workers are the most single important ingredient and factor in combating this disease. We cannot afford to have our health workers infected by the virus, and we are so happy that so far, so good. Please continue. Protect yourselves. Na namuona hapa mkiwa wengi. Protect yourselves. First protect yourself, then protect others. Ni kama ndege. Kwanza uvae ile mask, alafu patia wengine wavae. Tuko pamoja hapo? So therefore, we will continue this support. And I want to say that as we deal with this health pandemic, as we deal with coronavirus, I think it is important for us also to appreciate that corona is not the only pandemic or disease that we are dealing with. It is also about other conditions that require different types of interventions. And I'm glad, Governor, the effort that you have made in Kiambu is absolutely admirable. Congratulations. Mukimpigia makofi ni sawa. Because the extensive arrangements you have made are going to be very, very important, not just for Kiambu County, but for Nairobi as well, and the environs, because we know that you cannot turn back a patient. And I'm aware, as you have explained to me, that you have quite a number of patients in Kiambu hospitals who actually come from Nairobi. Your maternities are good, so I'm sure you get quite a bit of population that comes from Nairobi. So keep up the good work. If they come here, they are registered here, they are voters here, so it's okay. But the main objective of these facilities is to ensure that our people remain healthy and remain in a situation, in a condition where they can be contributors to the economy rather than sick individuals. So this is the main objective of the universal health coverage is essentially that, is to keep our population healthy. And I want to say that we will be enhancing our UHC capacity. We will be building on UHC. We will be launching it everywhere. We are building the institutions that are necessary to make UHC possible. Those institutions include the National Hospital Insurance Fund, KEMSA, as well as other national organizations that are critical in the support for UHC. We have learned that there is need to strengthen primary health care at the community units, dispensaries, and health centers. And as you know, most of these are devolved functions. So we are quite glad, especially in Kiambu, about what you have done with primary health facilities. We continue to insist that the best cure for disease is prevention. If we can be able to prevent people from getting sick, and some of the measures that we have seen, hygiene measures that have been taken at county level, have contributed to reducing the incidences of disease across the country. And we would like to urge that some of these measures that we take, or we are taking because of COVID-19, should be sustained and maintained into the future so that they can be part of our way of life. Washing our hands, sanitizing ourselves. This is something that we should continue with, even post-COVID. Therefore, the idea of the primary health care, Is it necessary also? Where are those wakarabati? Is it necessary this one? Or I can use one? Okay. So this is the fact of the primary healthcare facilities are critical and important. Improve capacities at the county level. I know hii sasa imewekwa sanitizer mpaka sijui kama itasikika. Asante. Thank you very much. Asante. I want to congratulate you on what you have done, Governor, as far as recruitment is concerned. Because let us not forget, when we hear that health workers have been recruited, what we are essentially saying is that somebody has got a job. And that's always a good thing. That is one more family that is going to benefit as a result of both county and national government effort. And our job is to balance between ensuring that health is number one, but also we would like to create opportunities for people to work so that young people are able to exercise and carry out what they have learned rather than stay at home. An additional 100 health workers in 14 cadres are also expected to be recruited by your county service boards. I would like to appeal to the county through the governor for this recruitment process of the remaining healthcare workers to be expedited so that people in Kiambu can benefit from these services. At the community level, 1,171 out of 1,200 healthcare workers have been sensitized in UHC, which includes COVID-19. All this to boost the county's health workforce. Fellow Kenyans, we are working towards ensuring that the county has essential medicines in its health facilities. Therefore, under UHC, Kiambu has been allocated some 216 million shillings this financial year. And the medicines are undergoing final stages of being dispatched. I encourage the county to place its next order and set up the Medicine Therapeutic Committee, which will help in quantifying the needs of the future. The allocations are to supplement the county's budget on medicines. I encourage the county to spend its budget on essential medicines as well. We are also planning to place basic equipment in the facilities in the next financial year so that the basic tests, such as emergency care for pregnant women, can be performed. I want to thank the Kiambu County once again for the effort it has put in UHC so far. By the DG for Health, that in a maternity, the required PPEs would be as high as 15. Is that correct? Yes. As high as 15 for one delivery and for one case only. So you can see the needs for the personal protection, that equipment that we have been advocating for and we have been delivering. We have learned from the counties that have implemented UHC successfully that their economies have grown, their citizens are living longer, and have a good quality of life. In Kenya, we can achieve this with the plans we are putting in place, which require individual cooperation. We will not want to wait to get sick, but instead engage in activities, health activities such as healthy eating, exercising, and adopting appropriate health-seeking behavior. Further, the government's agenda is to make healthcare more affordable so that the common mwananchi does not have to suffer. And this is a promise that the president has made, and this is something he has asked us to make sure is done. And to achieve this, we have embarked on reforming our institutions, as I had said earlier. And I want to appeal to Kenyans to register with NHIF so that they can be able to carry out the work of ensuring and assuring you that when you fall sick, you are taken care of. At the same time, we will continue to encourage our people to visit our health facilities. Do not let somebody die at home because of fear. Do not let somebody who looks sick stay at home, because somebody who dies at home with COVID-19 then can infect a lot of other people. And this disease is not a joke. As I told you yesterday, the more we test, the higher the number of positive cases that we are likely to get. Today, 147 people have tested positive out of 2,831 samples now tested. This means that Kenya now has 1,618 people who have now tested positive. The cumulative test conducted so far is 70,172. And in terms of age distribution, the youngest is a 1-year-old infant, while the oldest is 87. These cases are spread across the country: 90 in Nairobi, 41 in Mombasa, Kiambu has another 3, and so on and so forth. We have also got now counties that have got cases that didn't have before. Nyeri has joined with 2, Uasin Gishu has 2, while Kajiado, Kilifi, Embu, Homa Bay, Murang'a, and Machakos all have at least 1 each. The distribution in Nairobi is as follows: Kebra, 35 persons; Langata, 15, and that's near Kibera as well; Makadara has 9, Westlands has 8, Embakasi Central has 6, Embakasi West has 5, Kamukonji has 2, Mathare an additional 1. You recall that yesterday we had 33 from Mathare. The reason why there is 1 is because we have contact traced and gotten all those people. And these people that we are mentioning here are sourced from different places. Some of them are in our quarantine facilities. Some of them are people who our team, the contact testing cases, who place themselves in the various streets and are carrying out tests, are picking from. And the normal way of doing this is that as soon as we know that somebody is positive, they are telephoned immediately, they are told to self-isolate, and then our Ministry of Health officials and the county health officials then go and pick them up in ambulances and take them to isolation facilities. I would also like to urge that there should be no stigmatization of individuals who have tested positive. I have said and I repeat, there is not a single person who is safe from getting or becoming COVID positive. Anybody can get it. You can get it, I can get it. And we have said this over and over again. And that's why we emphasize that when somebody is positive, what they need from us is care, empathy. This is what we should be concerned with. And when they turn negative, then we'll welcome them and be happy and pray and thank God that that is what has happened. So out of the 147 cases that I mentioned, all of them are actually Kenyans. We don't have any foreigners out of them. 87 of them are men, while 60 of them are women. Men continue to get to positive cases in much, much larger numbers than women. But even with rising numbers, I'm also glad to inform you that today we have discharged 13 patients who have recovered from the disease, and we are always happy to hear that. So our total number of recoveries now stands at 2021. On a sad note, however, we have lost 3 people from the disease. One of them in Kiambu County, in Thika, and 2 others in Mombasa. Both of the cases in Mombasa had underlying conditions. I want to pass my sincere condolences to the families and friends of the departed. May their souls rest in eternal peace. As I conclude, I want to inform you that today, May 28th, is the World's Menstrual Hygiene Day. To celebrate the day, whose theme is "It's Time for Action," we are launching our menstrual hygiene policy and strategy 2019 to 2024. This policy is meant to create an enabling environment for implementation of menstrual hygiene and management interventions in Kenya. It will also ensure that women and girls have access to safe and hygienic products. I'm delighted to inform you that Kenya is the first nation to develop a standalone menstrual hygiene policy through a multi-stakeholder, consultative, and inclusive process. We acknowledge the contribution of the stakeholders in developing this policy and strategy and in advancing the menstrual health and hygiene agenda in Kenya. Finally, I want to thank Kiambu Governor, Dr. James Nyoro, and all those people in Kiambu for their efforts in combating this disease. Due to your proximity to Nairobi, which is the most affected county at the moment, the number of infections would have been much higher had you not taken the measures that you have taken. And we want to encourage you to continue taking the same strict measures. The collaboration between the people of Kiambu and the county government have managed to limit the spread of the infections. And I want to say here that, as I have said, that this is not a disease that belongs to the county government of Kiambu. It is not a disease that belongs to the national government. It is not a disease that can be defeated by any government. This is a disease that can only be defeated by the collaboration of all of us together. And we would like to say, as we look forward, as we look at engaging more and more, opening some sectors of our economy, as we have done, for instance, with the hotels, I would like to say that the job of ensuring that the transmission is reduced will more and more be passed to individuals themselves. It is not enforcement agencies who are supposed to secure us. It is we as individuals who are supposed to secure each other. I said yesterday that the readiness of a county is commensurate with the cooperation between the county government, as in the county executive, the county legislators, as well as the citizens of each county. And therefore, it is clear to me that there has been that cooperation here. And, you know, there are always people who will criticize what we are doing. There are always people who are going to say, Governor, that you are not doing what is supposed to be done. My encouragement to you is keep your eyes on the ball, keep moving on. Let's just protect the people of Kiambu and the people of Kenya. We must not let our guard down. I thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Purity Musa from KBC. Two questions. My first question, how many health
Thank you. My name is Purity Musa from
KBC
KBC.
fight against COVID-19, and how many of them have been confirmed positive? Number two, as we mark World Menstrual Hygiene Day and emphasis on washing hands regularly, there has been a shortage of water in most counties, especially Kiambu and Nairobi. How far are you with addressing this problem?
There has been a shortage of water in most counties, especially Kiambu and Nairobi. How far are you with addressing this problem?
Maybe my question is concerning mtu mmoja aliyeweza kupatikana hapo jana katika mtaa wa Thika akigaragara usiku wa manane akikohoa kwa njia ya kutatanisha. Sijui kama serikali iliweza kumpata, maana alikuwa wenyeji walikuwa wanashuku kwamba huenda alikuwa anaugua na ugonjwa wa COVID. Alafu swali lingine ni kuna mgonjwa mmoja aliyeweza kutoroka katika karantini ya Mbagathi leo asubuhi baada ya kuwatishia hata maafisa mabawabu katika kwenye lango. Sijui kama serikali imeweza kumpata. Alafu swali la mwisho ni kwamba eneo la Kibra na Lang'ata linaendelea kuwa hatari sana. Kama waziri, unaona kwamba huenda mkachukua mikakati zaidi kuweza kukabili visa ama kuweza kucontain situation katika eneo la Kibra na Lang'ata?
Okay, let me just take those ones and then we can do another round. But I'm going to ask Dr. Amoth to respond to the issues that you have said. Steve, your mathematics confused even me. I heard you talk about this figure, that figure, that figure. I'm quite sure that the figures that we have are correct, but I'll be happy to discuss it with you offline. I think it is very clear what we have said about our active cases. Active cases are the figure that is calculated as follows. That is the number of cases that we have reported as positive cases. You reduce that number by the number of people that we have released from hospitals. You reduce that number by the persons who have passed on, and you arrive at the number of positive cases. And I think that's a very simple sum. On the shortage of water, I think the Ministry of Water, Madam C.S. Sisri Kariuki, has spoken to this issue. And essentially, what has been happening is that because of the rains, some of the intakes have been spoiled. Some of the pipes have been clogged with mud. Some of the pipes have been swept away, but everything is under repair. And we are hoping that this is a problem that is going to be sorted as quickly as possible. Apparently, somebody, as you said, I didn't even know at the moment that somebody had run away from a quarantine facility. My appeal to the person who has run away is to come back. Really, you know, kama ni wewe, kama uko hapa, yule mtu alitoroka. Kama wewe uko hapa, tafadhali, identify yourself to these good people here, these doctors, wakupeleke hapa ndani, upone. Because when you are out there, what you are doing is that you are infecting everybody that you are going to come across. Sijui unakimbia ndio ukimbie kwako nyumbani, umkute bibi hapo, Then what do you think is going to happen? Uende huko usalimie mama, ufanye nini na mama? People, please. You know, the beauty is that the last time we appealed to the people who have ran away from a quarantine facility, people actually did come back. They came back voluntarily. Now, my issue would be, how are you going to come back? Because now you are going to enter a matatu, infect people in the matatu, you know. So if you are somewhere, please identify yourself to in a health facility so that we can assist you, or walk back alone with a mask. You know. So all we can do is make an appeal and say that we cannot enforce, we cannot really have everybody, being where they are by force. Because as I have said, there are countries where they don't even have quarantine facilities because people quarantine themselves at home. They don't even have where you have got mild cases, they don't even take them to hospital. They stay at home and they stay away from everybody else and they stay safe and they keep their families safe. So when you see something like that, it just establishes and confirms, to other people, particularly other nations, to our guests, that we are essentially an indisciplined lot. And I would like to appeal really to that individual to just come back. In any case, even if you don't come back, we are going to find you. So isn't it better for you to just voluntarily come on your own? Because I guarantee you, we will find you. We have got ways and means. Serikali iko na mkono mrefu. Itakutafuta tu pale ulipo. Kwa hivyo wewe rudi. Wewe kuja, nenda kwa daktari, nenda isolation. In a few days you will be okay. We will pray for you, even if you are a sinner. Dr. Amuth, do you want to report? Do you want to talk about the other issues that I didn't talk about?
Thank you, Waziri. Thank you, CS Sheru, Excellency Governor. I think in terms of the numbers, Waziri has put it very well. The numbers that we have is simply take the total number of cases, you minus the discharges and those who have recovered or who have died. And today the numbers we have in various hospitals, more than 36 hospitals, is 692. 3 out of these are in critical care in ICU, and the rest are under observation and are doing well in stable condition. Purity asked a question about the number of healthcare workers who have tested positive for COVID. As at yesterday, that number stands at 54, which gives you a figure of 3.5%. Of course, the healthcare workers being the first line of defense, by nature of their work as they carry their mandate, then they are usually exposed to the infection. I'm glad to report to you that so far we have not lost any healthcare worker, and all the healthcare workers who are tested positive and those who are in isolation and various treatment centers are doing well. And we'll continue to provide them support, of course. We'll also continue to support the rest of the healthcare workers by providing personal protective equipment and also giving them capacity building so that they can ensure we can ensure their safety. About a patient who escaped from Bagadi, I think Waziri has responded. I'm not aware about this case of Thika, but we'll work with our surveillance team in Kiambu to be able to pick it up from there. Thank you.
Governor, you know that we had delivered some 800 PPEs to you, lakini hatuwezi kuja mkono tupu. Kwa hivyo tutaongeza those PPEs. We have another 200 PPEs with us. We have 1,000 N95 masks for the healthcare workers here. And we also have 2,500 surgical masks for the healthcare workers. It is our intention to make sure that you are protected. Ningetaka kushukuru tena, niseme asante. Okay, a quick one.
Yes, Mark Lamota from KBC News. This is a question on behalf of hotel and restaurant workers. A good number of them have been rendered jobless due to the pandemic, and a number had been subjected to tests and were awaiting the results to collect them from the Lord Northey Clinic. And this morning, a couple of them were demonstrating because some claim they have waited for over 6 days and they haven't gotten the results, so they do not have clearance to go back to work. So they're asking what's happened.
Okay.
Perhaps if I can also ask a quick one. My name is Gaina Kirori from NTV. I wanted to ask why the Ministry of Health is still testing relatively low numbers in the lower thousands, yet Kemri has the ability to test over 30,000 samples per day. Another question perhaps for Governor Nyoro. Kiambu is known as a rural area which houses a lot of the elderly and also has the elderly people's homes. So what is being done to protect the elderly in Kiambu County, especially at this time of COVID-19, to cushion them from the effects? Are there any special measures that are being put in those homes to protect the elderly? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you very much. I'm just getting the information, Namasa, that in fact that information, those tests have been released. So, but on the other hand, I would encourage people to actually use government facilities for this testing. They are faster and more efficient. On the issue of testing, why the testing is low, it is essentially driven by the shortage of reagents that we use on the machines. Kemri has essentially got two types of machines. They have got the Cobas machines that use Roche reagents, and Abbott machines that use Abbott reagents. And at the moment, those reagents are in great demand across the whole world. So what the limiting factor is actually the testing reagents, not the machines, because unfortunately or fortunately, the way some of those machines were made is such that you can only use reagents of that machine from one specific source. And those sources are generally in the United States and Europe. And as you well know, they had stopped the exportation of those reagents. So it has been very, very difficult for us. But having said that, we have still improved the number of tests we are carrying out month on month. We tested, I think, something like 19,000 in the month of April, and 47,000. We have so far this month tested upwards of 47,000. So we are improving, and reagents are getting, we are getting more and more as we learn also where to get them and how to find them. So we will continue upscaling our testing capacity. The other limitation that was there was the number of testing labs that we had. Now we are upwards of 20 in terms of labs that we have certified for testing. We are going to increase that number so that people can access testing as near to where they are as possible. So it remains a challenge, but we are addressing it head on. Kwa hivyo, asanteni sana. Thank you very much, Kiambu Hospital. Asanteni sana. And I just want to say once again, we will be there with you. We'll walk the walk together, and we'll make sure that the county government and the Ministry of Health continue to cooperate. Asanteni sana.
Thank you.
Now we need to launch, we need to give. Niko wapi goodies, Governor?
Yeah,
Oh, Pandeyo.
No, there was a question that was asked, and
yes.
just to say that the case that you are referring to was picked up by our surveillance team, and the patient is in Thika Level 5 hospital and is positive. But the case has already been picked by our surveillance team. On the issue that we have raised about the elderly, I think what Waziri has been saying is, first of all, the younger people should stop going to the rural areas. And that is very, very clear. I have to say that, and I want to thank the county commissioner and his team, because Waziri, we have been able to screen about 820,000 people. And out of those, 9 were showing high temperature. And out of the 9, 1 was positive, was a truck driver. So the most important thing is to make sure that young people do not go to the rural areas. And please don't pass through Panya routes, because if you pass through the normal roadblocks, they will not allow you. And the most other important thing is for us to control crowding in public places. Like I said, we have closed markets. We have restructured how you do certain markets, like Rosigate Market, which normally was Sundays. We have said it have to be the 6 days of the week. Make sure that we avoid crowding those places, because that's where the rule of law is. But more importantly is the primary level care that Waziri is talking about. Our community health volunteers are able, and they are close to the community, and they are able to detect some of those cases. So it's prevention, really. that will make us avoid this kind of situation. Thank you very much.